Hey, good morning. I hope that you're having a great day, and if you're not, I hope that this video helps you a little bit. But yeah, I'm just having an interesting day today because I'm listening to Natija Cave's reading, and she's doing it a little bit different today. She has like a spread. And it's funny because she's like, okay, usually I start channeling stuff, but I'm really going to focus on the cards. And it's kind of resonating with me on like my life story stuff, because I feel like in this past year I've been told a couple times, like, write your story, share it. It's kind of crazy, and I like laughing about it now. So I don't know, I could tell you stories about it because I feel like it's so fun to laugh about it. It's so crazy. But yeah, so anyways, today I reached out to my brother who goes to like high school where I went, and I said like, hey, can you ask the teacher that published my story like freaking how many years, 15 years ago, so I can read it, because that story, she had asked us at the end of the year in our English class, like it was freshman year, basically to write what are they called, not a memorial but a memoir. So it was very interesting too, because for mine I just went, you know what, I'm going all the way. I'm spilling the tea, really, is what I'm doing. And it was interesting because there was this kid that, you know, where I live, it's very like Republican-y, but then there's a lot of people that are like lower class. Like I grew up in the ghetto, you know, so it's very like unbalanced. And anyways, there's a lot of influence of like white supremacy stuff. So and typically it's not even, I mean, maybe it's people that have money, but it feels like it's people that are coming from not much, like, also. So it's kind of confusing to me, but anyways, I guess it makes sense. Anyways, this kid, he was like notorious for like spreading white supremacy like thoughts and like wearing things that represented that. And I got partnered with him at the end of the year to read our memoirs. So I got to read his, and he wrote about how he has a little brother and a dad, and they don't have a mom. And basically the dad is the one that is always shoving these thoughts down his throat, right? Like the white supremacy stuff. And basically in his memoir, he admitted to himself and basically the teacher and myself, because I got to read it, that he is only this way because he wants love from his dad. And like, how sad is that, you know? Like, as a 15-year-old and stuff, like, it's just interesting. Mine was about my dad too, so very, I feel like, equal stories we can share with each other. But anyways, that teacher, she ended up publishing my story in like the high school like end of the year book, because she also had submitted it to like the college, like Fresno State. It was like a young writers thingy. I didn't win, but it was really cool, and it felt nice to like be rewarded for going through all that bullshit. So yeah, that was cool. So anyways, I asked my brother today to ask her for it, because one day my dad picked me up from school and he was like, what's this? And then it was the book thing that I got a copy of, and the story's about him, and I spilled the fucking tea, and he was pissed. So I just went off and I told him everything. I told him straight up, and then he like threw the book, and I was able to like take it back inside my room at that time, but also I didn't live there, so I think at some point he threw it away, because when I went to get my stuff one time, I never found it. So basically, Natija Cave said, write a story about your life, and I think this is my first step into doing that, because I don't like think about these things anymore, so I don't really have the same tone that I did in the past to write it. I feel like with that same like depth. So I think reading that will really help me get started. And I mean, I'll make videos out of it too, because you want to know what's freaking crazy. Like, she submitted my story to the Fresno State thing. That's fine. There's only a group of us that's going. No one's reading my story but her and the Fresno State people. So I was like, this is fine. And if I win, it's very artistic and beautiful, whatever. So anyways, that passes. I don't win. We go back to school. School's year's ending. I know I'm going to a different school. And then she is like, hey, can I publish this in the end of the year, like, book thing? And I was like, no ma'am, you can't, because this is gonna tell everybody that I have a crazy dad, and I don't know if I want that. And she said, no, I will make sure it's anonymous. So whatever, I was like, all right, bet. Then I go, you know, this is like a few weeks later, I go to class, one of my last classes that I'm gonna see these people, because it's like the end of the school year, last B day of the year. I'm in my math class, and then one of my friends that I met that year comes up to me looking really sad, and he just goes like this, and he's like walking up to me for a hug, and I'm like, what? And then he was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I was like, oh shit, I bet my story's in there and it's not anonymous. And then he said, your dad. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys. So yeah, one of my last days at school, I just had to sit there wondering how many people read my story, how many people know about my life that I never saw again, you know? Like, I went to a different school after that, so a lot of people never saw them again. So I thought it was very interesting. That's why I was not upset that the teacher, you know, it didn't go in anonymously. I feel like everything happens for a reason, so I'm just surrendering to life. And typically that's something people get mad about, you know, like feeling betrayed or something like that. But no, I don't. I feel like this was meant to be, and obviously 15 years later, I'm still wanting to write about it. So I'm at a place now where it doesn't matter what people know about me, because I'm me, so fuck it. But yeah, so if you want to hear any stories, you know what I think I'll do is I will make a video of me reading that story once I get it back, so that'll be fun. I got the full in reverse, so it's talking about like being naive, reckless, apathy, inexperience, hesitation, unwise decisions, and indecision. Yeah, that's very interesting. And it's a card represented by the number 0. In the upright position, it says spread your wings and fly. So I think that this might be telling us that we're avoiding our purpose a little bit, and we're going off course when we don't need to, and we're making decisions that feel reckless in the end because they're not aligned with who we really are and what spirit and source and the universe has planned for us. So that's how I'm going to take that one. But you guys, I'm just sending you so much love, because I think that there's a reason that we're all here. And I was listening to an Amy Winehouse song yesterday, and I was like singing it, and I can't sing, but I was like, man, imagine if this woman didn't share her voice with us. And I know her story is controversial, so I mean, probably would have been safer for her to not go down this road, but ultimately it played out the way it played out. So if I think about Amy Winehouse, I think about, wow, this young woman came to earth, left us with such deep, deep, painful stories that resonate with so many of us. So many. Even like years and years later, 20 years later, people are still slapping her music. And imagine if she didn't fulfill that life path, you know? It was painful, but again, her soul chose to step into that path, and she left the world with so many gifts. And I think about that too, that like we are here and we want things. We want things from the universe. We want things to happen. But I like to challenge myself and think about, what does the universe want from me? Why are we here cohabitating or whatever, right? And I think that's the thing, like the Amy Winehouse thing. I think that like I went through the things I went through to share them, and I think you too. I think that you have gifts, you have stories that no one's ever been through. Only you, and only your perspective. You know, it's so unique. So I'm sending you love to encourage you to start living your life inspired to share with the universe. And don't think about other people, just think about, this is your soul like talking to your higher self, essentially. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I got the Four of Cups, which is water and Cancer. It's talking about stability, form, familiarity, foundations to rest on. So it says, don't let your focus close you to new ideas. It says apathy again, so that's very interesting that we got that already. Apathy, I feel like, is the opposite of empathy, right? So not caring about others, having maybe not others, but why can't I say that? Demotivation, contemplation, lack of risk. Yeah. It seems like the enthusiasm for life is not there right now. It's not hitting, it's not popping up for you. So I feel that Source is just telling us that it's because we are closed-minded a little bit. We have our mindset on the end goal of what we think should happen. And this is a sign from the universe to release control, live no resistance. And if you can't picture what that feels like, for me, what helped was imagining a roller coaster. You can't stop it. You can brace your body as much as you want, but it's gonna take you through the roller coaster. And essentially, life is like we're in a roller coaster, and it's going, and it's not gonna stop for us. And we are holding on to anxiety and stress and worries and whatever, the same way our body would hold on out of fear on a roller coaster. So I think that you, in order to release those thoughts and rumination patterns, you really have to imagine that you're just like on a roller coaster and you let go and you just let it take you where it takes you. And you'll notice how your thoughts dissipate and kind of sink down and leave you alone. So that's just one practice that could help, I hope. I got the Ace of Pentacles. This is talking about the time is right to take action on your ideas. So, let's see. But don't do it from a place of like, oh, I need to make money, I need to do this, I need to. See it as a way of the universe being like, I got you, and this is the plan, just trust me, it's gonna work out. And then try not to focus on what you don't have. Try to think out of love, which is very challenging, of course, but it brings you so much joy when you can see things from love. 8 of Wands, It is saying watch out for untrustworthiness, theft, jealousy, delays, frustration. This is it could be, you could be dealing with the Sagittarius. The number 8 is significant. In the upright position, this card says take action on your ideas. Life is moving ahead. So I think Source is just saying you're ready to move ahead, but I think that there might be people or energies around you that could harm the purity of your path. Like I'm trying to think of the word, but it's basically like you don't need anyone interrupting this process. You don't need external validation. You need to just start. And you can pivot. If you thought maybe it was music and now it's not music, that's fine. Pivot. Just do things that bring you joy, and you will notice how much you love yourself every time you do that. You're spending time loving yourself, and you are so worthy of love, and we're freaking floating on a rock in space. So I think that there's a lot more magicalness to who we are and what we're capable of. It's just that we listen to what we're taught and everything in the world, and it's not necessarily always true. And I know like people feel like it's a conspiracy theory to think about like the government lying to us or whatever, but I work for like a corporate business, and the things that have to be done in order to make things run smoothly, some people don't find out all the information. Some people, you know, it's like a delicate process to navigate, and I don't think that we have it together yet. Not the company, but you know, where we live. And yeah, so I just think that we should use our own minds and our own discernment to accept what's real for us, versus what we've been taught that might not be real. So yeah. And then yesterday too, I was I was driving, and I've been feeling a little bit disconnected. Like I cannot get to where I feel like I've been like in a meditative state and things like that. Like I've been too tired, I think, so I fall asleep instead of meditating. And 222, cool. So anyways, on my way home, I saw a bunch of license plates that were like 222, 333, 555, and 888. I saw that so many times. And I have a little like my, what is it called, my business card in the back of my phone, and I wrote 888 on it because I'm like, bring me prosperity, baby. And oh, and then I went to Target because my cat had to get him different food because he's got a UTI. It's so sad, this poor little guy. But anyways, so I got out of my car, and then the first car I saw, the license plate, it said 555, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I walked like 2 more cars, and then it says 888, and I was like, gosh dang, like, thank you, universe, like, you're showing me what I need to see, that like we are connected. And then the next one was 333, and I was like, get the heck out of here, you know what I mean? It's just so nice. And I'm just really trying to settle into that feeling of being one with the universe. And yeah, another thing too that like, I don't know, 38 is like my number right now that I've cast into the universe to speak with me, and it was popping up everywhere on my way home. So I was like, okay, something's happening. I feel like I got disconnected because Source needed me to be disconnected from it so that it could work on whatever it's working on. without me intercepting, and that says 444. Cool. So yeah. And then it's interesting, this is just totally off topic, but the other day I had a cry and I looked at my tear, like I barely opened my eyes, and I don't know if maybe like light got in, but I saw like my tear or either my eyeball refracted in my tear, and it was so cool. It looked like a disc, like an old like Mayan looking disc with like codes on it, and it was kind of like orangey purplish gold. And the only other thing I could imagine that was maybe like the tear itself, and like the little pieces of like salt or whatever is in your tears were kind of like sitting on the surface of the tear itself. So I don't know, it was just interesting, and I thought that would be something cool to share. And if you've ever experienced that, or if you need to cry, take a peek, because it was so cool, and I would love if this was just like a real thing. So let me know, and I hope that you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Life is great, you're great, and life can be whatever you want it to be. So cast out your wishes and start acting on them, because you got it, bitch. You are that bitch. You got this shit. Okay.